Good morning students. Let me start English prose today. Actually I have been teaching you my greatest Olympic prize. In the previous videos we have discussed a lot and we completed up to unit 1. Today we are to start from unit 2 of the same chapter, my greatest Olympic prize. So let me start. Warm up. Anger is the worst enemy of an athlete. Read the following unit of the text and find out how Owens suffered for his anger and who bailed him out. Anger is the worst enemy of an athlete. Athlete means anyone who is participating in athletic rounds or in athletic events, etc. If you are a sports person, that means you are an athlete. And anger is the worst enemy of an athlete. I actually would advise you that anger is the worst enemy of any person. Anyone, whoever will commit anger, that means whoever is angry, he is sure to commit error, he is sure to commit mistake. If you do anything in an angry mode, you are sure to commit error, because anything that you do in an angry mode, you will find yourself in a difficult situation. So never get angry. So here it has been mentioned the same. If you are an athlete, if you are a sports person and you are performing in an angry mode, then you are sure to commit foul, you are sure to commit mistakes. Read the following unit of the text and find out how Owens suffered for his anger and who bailed him out. In this unit we will discuss how Jesse Owens got angry, and only because of his anger, how he pushed himself into a difficult corner, how he found himself in a terrible situation, and we will discuss who bailed him out. Bail someone out means to get someone out of a difficult situation. So now who bailed him out means, now we will discuss how Jesse Owens was angry and he was performing in that Olympic round. Actually he was performing in an angry mode, and because he was angry, that's why he was sure to commit error, and how he found himself in a terrible situation and who really rescued him from that difficult situation, who really helped him come out from that difficult situation. We will discuss it here. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes, as any coach will tell you. Coach means trainer. If anyone is giving you training, if anyone is supervising your skill, if anyone is advising you how to enhance your skill in that particular field, then he is called the trainer or coach. Then the coach or trainer would always advise the athletes not to get angry. Why? Because in an angry mode, whatever performance you will do, that means if you perform in an angry mode, you are sure to commit foul or you are sure to commit error. You simply cannot give your best in an angry mode. That's why the coach or the trainer always advise the sports person not to get angry when you are to perform in the athletic arena. And I was no exception. I means here Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens was addressing himself in first person pronoun I. So I was no exception means Jesse Owens was no exception. Exception means no different. No exception, in fact. No exception means no different. So our writer was no different. So what it has mentioned, if anyone is doing anything in an angry mode, he is sure to commit error. And now Jesse Owens was in an angry mode, because how we concluded in the unit 1. In the last, towards the tail part of unit 1, we discussed Jesse Owens got angry only because of the Aryan superiority theory of Adolf Hitler, and how Adolf Hitler actually put Lars Lang, such a world class athlete, secretly only to believe that if he would be fielded directly in the Olympic arena, then he would win the gold medal, and all such things actually made Jesse Owens angry. And now in an angry mode he was to perform in the trial round. What is trial round? I am to tell you just. On the first of my 3 qualifying jumps, I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a no jump. Leaped means, you check, if leap is noun, it means a jump. But if leap is verb, it means to jump. and the past tense of leap is leaped. Leaped is the past tense of leap. So now leap means jumped. So now he jumped several inches beyond the checkerboard. What is checkerboard I am telling you, and what is qualifying jump I am also telling you. Now let us discuss what is checkerboard. Check here, so perhaps all of you have participated in school athletic meet. What is a pit? Pit is a large hole dug into the ground. Pit is a large hole. Write the meaning of pit, because later on pit is the word that is here mentioned. Pit means a large hole dug in the ground. And here a large hole is dug in the ground, then the hole is filled with fine sand. Now before this, a little before the pit, one line is drawn. This line is called checkerboard. All the athletes who are to jump, suppose you are participating in long jump, then you are to jump before this line. By no means you can touch this line or you can step beyond the line. If in the process of jumping, if you touch the line or you step beyond the line, that means either you touch the line or overstep the line, then your jump will be considered as a no jump. That will not be considered, that will not be registered. That means that will be considered as a foul. So you are to come as close as this much to the line or as far from the line, from wherever you may jump, but before that line you should jump. So this line is called the checkerboard. Then what is trial? Suppose this is the Olympic round and a lot more athletes are there to participate. Then all the athletes cannot participate in the final round. In those days, actually, because of the limited number of the athletes, that's why only one trial round was there, which was considered the elimination round. Then after that elimination round, then they were to participate in the final round. Suppose some 200 athletes are there intending to participate in the long jump in Olympics. Then now one qualifying distance will be decided. Suppose this is the qualifying distance, and now all the athletes will be asked to cover this distance. That means before this line they were to jump and they were to land after this line. So whoever can qualify this distance, whoever can efficiently jump covering this much distance, he will be qualified for the final round, and those who cannot do, they will be eliminated. And in the process of doing so, they will be given 3 rounds or 3 chances, and these 3 chances are called the 3 qualifying or 3 trials. So in the trial round, each athlete will be given 3 chances to jump from here, covering this much of distance. Actually their body is to land or their foot is to land beyond the line. Those who cannot cover this much of distance, they will get eliminated, and those who can jump beyond the line, then they will participate in the final round. But nowadays, because of the because a lot more athletes are participating in the Olympic round, that's why a lot more elimination rounds are there nowadays. That means suppose some 500 athletes are there, they will be grouped under different groups, and each group will jump here, then whoever jump, no qualifying distance here it will be. Nowadays, now whoever, suppose someone jumped here, and that is from this group, whoever comes out first, second, third, only 3 will be selected here, only 3 will be selected here, only 3 will be selected here. So 3 athletes will be selected from each group, and all the athletes will be eliminated, all other athletes will be eliminated. Then these 3 again will compete in the second round, then among them again some will be chosen and some will be eliminated, then they will compete in the final round. So all these trial rounds are considered as the elimination round. So now it has been mentioned that only one elimination round was there. Whoever will qualify in this qualifying round, they were to compete in the final round. So here it has been mentioned in the qualifying round, suppose this is the qualifying distance and each athlete was given 3 chances to jump. Then what happened here? In the first of his 3 qualifying jump, now 3 chances had been given to each athlete. So Jesse Owens was also given 3 chances. Now in the first trial jump, what he did? He I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board. That means in this case what I told you, in the process of jumping, you cannot touch the line. In the process of jumping, you cannot touch the line. But what he did, he not only touched it, rather he stepped beyond the line. That means he put his feet here. His foot was here. When he jumped, his foot was here. That means he overstepped. He stepped beyond the line and jumped. So what I told you, if you touch the line or overstep the line in the process of jumping, then your jump will be a no jump. So now because he overstepped the line, so naturally his jump was a no jump. So first jump he was disqualified. On the second jump I was even worse. Bad, the comparative degree of bad is worse. Now in the second attempt it was that means he was even worse. Worse means check here. Suppose in the first qualifying jump he stepped here, in the second qualifying jump he stepped here. So who was disqualified in the first two rounds? The person who set the world record. Okay, previously it has been mentioned that people worldwide were strongly believing that Jesse Owens was sure to win the gold medal in the long jump event at least. Why? Because only 1 year before he set the world record. But this time he was struggling to qualify for the final. Why? Because in the first round he stepped here and in the second round he stepped furthermore. That means in both of the first two qualifying jumps he overstepped the takeoff board. That's why both of the jumps had been considered as no jump. So now only one more chance was there, and disqualification in that third chance means his candidature would be discarded. That means he would be disqualified. He simply could not qualify to participate in the final round. Who? The person who set the world record 1 year before, the person whom people worldwide believe strongly that he was to win the gold medal in the long jump event quite effortlessly or quite easily. That person was struggling like this. The 3 chances had been given to each athlete. Similarly, Jesse Owens was also given 3 chances. In the first 2 chances of the 3 trials, he was disqualified. That means he overstepped the line. He overstepped the takeoff board. Did I come 3000 miles for this? 3000 miles, actually 1 mile equals to 1 mile equals to 1.609 kilometer, or roughly you may say 1.61 kilometer. 1 mile equals to 1.61 kilometer. And now 3000 miles means roughly 5000 kilometers. Did I come 3000 miles for this? That means now he was asking himself, he was in a very angry mode, because I thought bitterly. Bitterly means in an angry mode. Bitterly means in an angry mode. So now he was, or in an angry manner, you may write, in an angry manner. So now what it is mentioned? Now in an angry manner he was asking himself whether he covered some 5000 kilometers to come to Germany to participate in the long jump event or different athletic events. Now he was cursing himself, he was questioning himself, he was asking himself, in the process of coming from America to Germany, he covered some 5000 kilometers. What we discussed earlier, Jesse Owens was an American athlete. Now from America he came to Germany in order to participate in the Olympics, and now he was questioning himself in an angry manner whether he covered this long distance, 5000 kilometers he covered in the boat or in the ship in order to participate or in order to come to Germany so that he could participate in the Olympic event. And now he was questioning himself whether he covered such a large distance only to fail in the trials and make a fool of myself. Make a fool of myself means prove that you do something so that it is proved that you are stupid. So now he was questioning himself, the way he was disqualified in the first 2 qualifying jumps, only one last chance was there, and disqualification in that last trial jump means he would be totally eliminated. He simply could not qualify for the final round, hence no chance of winning any gold medal. His chances would completely be destroyed in the very trial round. So now he was quite angrily asking himself whether he covered such a large distance from America to Germany. He covered such a large distance. He came from America to Germany just to do something so that he will be proved as a stupid, because people worldwide, what they will think, that such a world class athlete, the person or the athlete who set the world record, he simply could not qualify for the final round. Then everyone would definitely believe that he was a stupid one. That's why now he was in a very angry mood. He was asking himself the same question. You know, whenever we are hopeless, whenever we are in a disgusting mode, whenever we are in a frustrated mode, in frustration, actually we very often talk to ourselves, and he was doing the same. Now, because two of his trial jumps had already been declared as no jump, that's why he was talking to himself in an angry mode. He was asking himself that he covered such a large distance with the intention to participate and to win gold medal in the long jump, but two of his jumps have already been declared as no jump. Only one more chance was there, and if he would be disqualified in the third trial jump also, then his chance of winning the gold medal in the long jump would be destroyed right at the same moment. Walking a few yards from the pit. Yard means, check here, 1 yard equals to 0.91 meter. 1 yard equal to 0.91 meter. That means 9144 meter exactly. 0.9144 meter exactly. So 0.9 meter means a little less than 1 meter. So now walking a few yards from the pit. Now check here. Suppose this is the pit and this is the takeoff board. He jumped. The first jump he overstepped the takeoff board, landed wherever, it matters nothing. Then in the second qualifying jump he even stepped here, and where he landed it mattered nothing. Now both of his jumps had been declared as no jump. Now after landing there, he got up from the pit and walking a little distance, walking a few yards from the pit. What does it mean? That means now he walked a little away from the pit. That means he covered a little distance from the pit. He got, after jumping, and when he found that the second jump was also a no jump, now he got up, then he walked a little away from the pit. And I kicked disgustedly. Kicked means, you know, if you are applying your leg to hurt someone else or to give a blow someone else with the leg, it is called kick. Now he kicked disgustedly. Disgustedly means with a strong feeling of dislike. So now he did not like the way his jumps had been declared as a no jump. He did not like the way he was jumping. He did not like the way he was giving his effort. That's why in a very strong dislike in his mind or in his heart, he now kicked the ground. You know, sometimes we also do something. We threw our hands, we threw our legs like this hopelessly, or in a frustrating mode, we also do like this, and he now kicked the ground with a strong dislike in his heart. Suddenly I felt a hand on my shoulder. So when he was struggling, when he was cursing himself, when he was in an angry mode, when he was in an irritating mode, when irritation was there all over his body, he was just finding himself quite helpless. He found one hand touching his shoulder. You check, now it is not his hometown, it is not his native place, it is Germany. Some 5,000 kilometers away from America, his native place. So no one definitely would be there behaving to him in a friendly manner, but now someone touched him on his shoulder, and when he found a hand on his shoulder, he would turn back Now the same thing happened when he found one hand on his ground, on his shoulder. I turned to look into the friendly blue eyes. Look into means investigate, but here to inquire, that means to inquire. Now he, with curiosity in his mind, just to check who really touched his shoulder, he turned and looked into the person who was standing there, and looked into the friendly blue eyes of the tall German long jumper. That means when he was struggling with himself, because two of his trial jumps had been declared as no jump, now he found someone, or he felt someone touching his, someone touched his shoulder. Then he turned back in order to check, or in order to investigate, in order to inquire who really he was. Then when he found one person, he discovered that it was that tall long German jumper who actually created all the disturbances in him. Why I told you he created all the disturbance? Because he covered such a long distance of 26 feet, equaling the world record in the very trial round. It put our writer Jesse Owens in a restless mode. Actually, he was in the process of trying to prove a point, in the process of covering the distance larger than the distance covered by Lodge Long. Actually, he was jumping, that's why he was overstepping the takeoff board. So that is why I told you that Lodge Long was the root of all of his anger. Lodge Long was the root behind all of his problem. So now he found that the same person, the same long jumper, is a German long jumper, the tall person, he was a little taller than our writer Jesse Owens. He was standing at his back. He had easily qualified for the finals on his first attempt. He offered me a firm handshake. Now when he turned back, he found that tall long German jumper was standing there. His name was Long Jumper. He had earlier known, because after inquiry he got his name. Then now he found him standing there. So when he turned back, they were facing towards each other. That means each of them were facing to each other. Now Lodge Long wanted to shake hand with Jesse Owens, and Jesse Owens also offered his hand. Now they were shaking the hand. Firm handshake means, you know, if, check here, suppose you are shaking hand with a person, the way he will shake hand with you, it will prove how heartily he wanted to, or he wants to be friend with you. Check here, if the handshake, suppose someone is shaking hand with you, if he holds your hand firmly and if he shakes it, then it will prove that he really wants to be friend with you. That means he really or heartily wants to make friendship with you. So now he also offered, that means Jesse, when check here, when Jesse Owens turned back, he found Lodge Long standing there. So when both of them were facing each other, now Lodge Long offered his hand for a handshake. You know, it is the Indian tradition to fold our hands, to say namaste, etc. And it is the Western culture to shake the hand. Sometimes it is the culture in some other countries to hug each other, and like this different cultures are there in order to say that you try to make friendship with someone else. So now Lodge Long, what happened? Lodge Long now offered his hand for a handshake with Jesse Owens. So Jesse Owens also was a civilized person, so he also offered his hand. So both of them now were shaking hands as the mark of friendship, and it was a firm handshake, it was a warm handshake. That means both of them closed each other's hands firmly, and now they were shaking hands. Jesse Owens, I am Lodge Long. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German twist to it. So now Lodge Long addressed Jesse Owens by his name. So he addressed Jesse Owens by his name, Jesse Owens, and he introduced himself as Lodge Long, and he told Jesse Owens that because he was addressing him by his name, Jesse Owens, don't think that Lodge Long knew him earlier. Lodge Long did not know him earlier. It was there only he met, and Jesse Owens actually is well known worldwide, because he is the world champion. He set the world record. That's why everyone knew him. But Lojlang was a newcomer to the world athletic arena, that's why no one knows him. So Lojlang addressed Jesse Owens by his name, by uttering his name Jesse Owens, and he also introduced himself as Lojlang, but then he made it clear that both of them did not know to each other, because it was the first time that both of them were meeting each other. He was speaking English. Check here. He spoke English well means Lojlang was a German athlete. So German language was his original mother tongue. But now he was speaking English when he was talking to Jesse Owens, because Jesse Owens is from America, and you know Americans have their mother tongue English. English is the mother tongue of Americans. That's why now Lojlang, even though his mother tongue was German, but he was talking to Jesse Owens in English, and he was uttering English well, but with a German twist to it. Twist means, actually check here, twist means to change the direction, but here twist means have a German accent, have a German accent. What is accent? Check here. When we are pronouncing a word or when we are speaking a language, we are pronouncing words in certain ways. The way we speak Odia, we speak English in a different way. We speak Tamil in a different way. We speak Bengali in a different way. That's why if it is not your mother tongue, the person with the same mother tongue can know that you have learned the language, but this language is not your mother tongue. That means the language is to be spoken, or the words are to be pronounced with a strong way, with a strong particular way. That is called accent. That's why check here, the way Naveen Patnaik speaks Odia, we can clearly know that Odia is not his mother tongue. We can clearly know that he cannot speak Odia properly. Perhaps he does not know Odia, only learning a few sentences he is uttering here, the way he says. Why? Because of the change of accent. But suppose I will speak Odia, you can know that yes, Odia is my mother tongue, because I can pronounce Odia words properly. But when our beloved Naveen Patnaik utters Odia, it is proved that, or it is clearly revealed that Odia is not his language. That means he simply cannot use the language properly. That means the way one Odia. Check here, Naveen Patnaik obviously is one Odia, because he is the son of our beloved ex-chief minister Mr. Biju Patnaik. Mr. Naveen Patnaik, whenever he utters Odia, actually it is revealed that Odia is not his mother tongue, because of his accent. This is the accent. When we utter a language, the way we are uttering the language, accordingly it is revealed whether it is your mother tongue or not. That is accent. So now check here, German was his mother tongue. Whose? Lojlang's. But now he was speaking English. Now when he was speaking English in order to talk to Jesse Owens, he was speaking English in a German way, in a German accent. The way German language is spoken, he was speaking German. He was speaking English with that twist. That's why it has been mentioned with a German twist. That means he was speaking English, but in a German way, with a German accent. Glad to meet you, I said. Then trying to hide my nervousness, I added, how are you? Now check, our writer Jesse Owens was definitely nervous. Why? He was obviously nervous because he failed to qualify for the final round. Not that failed, because two of his three qualifying jumps had been declared as no jump. That's why he was nervous. He was struggling because only one more chance was left with him. So he was a little nervous, and just he wanted to hide his nervousness. Why? Because long jump had qualified in the very first attempt. It has been mentioned. In his very first attempt, Lojlang has qualified. He is a newcomer, but Jesse Owens was struggling hard to qualify. He is the world record holder. He set the world record. The world record was under his belt. Still then, that world-class athlete was struggling to qualify when Lojlang, who was completely new to the sports arena, to the athletic world, he qualified in the very first attempt. So definitely at his presence, at the presence of Lojlang, Jesse Owens would be feeling nervous. So now, in order to, he now tried to hide his nervousness. He wanted to keep his nervousness a secret. So he smiled and said that he was happy to meet him, and then he asked, how are you? You know, this is the normal way of greeting someone else, that how are you? And he also asked the same, how are you? I am fine. The question is, how are you? So when Jesse Owens asked Lodge Long how he was, check, in order to put his, or in order to keep his nervousness a secret, he asked him how he was. But now Lodge Long answered he was the fine, but the real question was how was Jesse Owens, and this question actually pinched Jesse Owens. Why? Because Jesse Owens, he was the world record holder, still then he was struggling hard to qualify. 2 of his jumps had already been proved or declared as no jump. That's why he was not good, or he was not in a good self. So now he wanted to say, that means now when Jesse Owens asked Lodge Long how he was, Lodge Long said that he was fine. But now he asked Jesse Owens how he was. This was the real question, because he was sure that Jesse Owens was not feeling good. He was not in a good composed state. He was not in a calm manner. He was not calm. What do you mean? I asked. When now Jesse Owens asked how are you, Lodge Long said he was fine, but he said how you are, that means he now asked Jesse Owens how he was, and it was the real burning question. Then Jesse Owens actually was pinched, he was hot. That's why now he said what he meant. That means what did he mean by asking how he was. That means now when Lodge Long said that he was fine, no problem, but the real question was how Jesse Owens was, so it pinched Jesse Owens, so he asked what he meant by saying so. Something must be eating you, he said, proud the way foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slangs. Something must be eating you. Eating means agitating, putting someone excited. Now something must be eating you, that means something must be putting you in an angry mode, something must be agitating you. Instead of using agitating, he said eating. This is the way for he said proudly the way foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slang. What does this line mean? American slang. Slang means, check, your language may be spoken in 2 ways. One in a formal way, another in an informal way. What is the informal way of speaking a language, and what is the formal way of speaking a language? I am telling you. The way you are writing answers, suppose you are sitting in the, you are appearing in the Odia exam paper, this is the Odia exam. The way you are writing the answers there in your copy, do you think at home you are using the same language when you are talking to your papa, mama or brother, sister or your friend? No. A little difference is there. The way you are talking to your family, friends, etc., or relatives or friends, etc., this is the informal language. When you are writing an essay, when you are writing an answer, when you are delivering a speech standing on the pendal, you are to use the formal language. Understood? So the purest form of a language, if you are using a language in the correct way, it is the formal language. Informal way, we speak like this. That means the way we talk in a friendly manner, that means the way we speak language just haphazardly or just in a friendly way, this is informal way of speaking the language, and informal language is called the slang. Sometimes slang means the unparliamentary words. Sometimes you know some filthy words we use, not we, sometimes some people actually use some filthy words. Such words or such language is called slang, and some other time it is that we also say that slang means informal. Check, slang means some filthy language, slang means also the informal way of speaking a language, but formal way means the purest form of language. The way we are writing the essay, the way we are writing the question answers, the way we are delivering speech standing on the pendal, etc. This is formal way. Here informal way. So instead of using agitating, now he used the word eating. That means he wanted to prove a point. He wanted to show Jesse Owens that even if English is not his native language, even if it is a foreign language for Lodge Long, still then he was capable to speak the language in an informal way. So now you know, whenever a foreigner has mastered over another language, suppose I am an Indian and I can speak English fluently, that means I have achieved mastery over one foreign language, then definitely I will be feeling proud. I am not feeling proud, no one should, because we all are capable to speak English. But suppose another language, suppose you are one French, you are that means you are from France, you are a French in nationality. Now you are capable to speak 5 different languages: language of Turkey, language of Pakistan, language of America, language of Japan. Then definitely you will be feeling proud, because whenever a person has achieved mastery over a foreign language, if he is capable to speak the language in an informal way, he will definitely feel proud. Now Lojlong was also feeling proud because he was capable to speak the language in an informal way. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed means, now he said that because Lojlong was one now Lojlong was advising Jesse Owens that because he was the world record holder, the world record was under his belt, and he set the world record only 1 year before, so he could qualify for the final round with eyes closed means effortlessly. Eyes closed means effortlessly, without giving the best of his ability, without giving his best of the efforts, he could qualify quite easily. That means Lojlong actually told Jesse Owens that he should not struggle because he was the world record holder. Check here, I am telling you what really Lojlong wanted to say. Suppose this is the pit and this is the checkerboard and this is the qualifying distance. Lojlong set the world record by covering this much of distance, suppose, and this is the qualifying distance. So the person who, or the athlete who is capable to cover the distance from here to here, don't you think he can quite easily cover this much of distance? Yes. So the person who is capable to cover this much of distance, he is capable to cover this much of distance quite easily, quite effortlessly. Lojlong wanted to point that out, because he was the world record holder setting the longest of the distance, that is 26 feet 8 and 1/4 inches, and now here he has to cover this much of distance to qualify for the final. So quite effortlessly, quite easily he could qualify the same. So dear students, actually I am to stop here because a lot more part is yet to cover here in this unit 2. Had it been a little one, smaller one, no problem, I would have tried to cover this one, but we have covered only half of unit 2 and another half is yet to cover. So let me cover, or let me discuss in the next video. So this much for today, and thank you all for listening me.